All right, good. That's
Getting
fine.
a
I
little
like it
dark.
like that.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm live. I guess I'm live. All right. This is the wife of the Cougar W. Um, yes. So, do you want to put that on headset, Scott? All right. So, talking about climate change, the only thing we're supposed to talk about. So, well, we're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, or economics. But I'm going to talk about one thing about politics, which was in regards to Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has been doing a very good job about climate change. And he did a good job even about it on the debate. He said 1.5 was an existential threat, and he's right. So he said it. He said it. And then, since then, because we've had so many climate problems in regards to what was he talking about? Well, he was in Washington, D.C. Oh, and that another great thing he did was that we're talking about, he's talking about heat related problems. And I think that's so great. He talked about heat related problems and that the federal government is now going to address heat as an issue, which it wasn't. It wasn't considered even a problem. And it was not, it didn't trigger issues like relief from the federal government. Heat didn't, floods did, hurricanes, um, tornadoes, things like that. But heat didn't. And now he's making heat part of that. And that was fabulous, and he's sending money to I mean, not companies, cities or, that need help with heat preparation. So that was good. And that was very good. So I was really proud of him for that. And that, we're, I think, they said that Kamala Harris had been working on that and getting heat to be covered so that now workers that are outside have relief that they must be provided with water and they have to be provided with breaks. And, of course, I'm thinking about our good friend and neighbor, Cameron Kemsky, who is a mailman. And that's hard. That's hard to be a mailman. And, when there's the heat and having to walk for 12 miles in the heat, so, oh, and my son Marshall, who's thinking about, being an EMT and a fireman. And so, those jobs are hard when there's so much heat. So, and these are requiring corporations to provide relief with the heat, water breaks and shade breaks and things like that. So that's happening. That's fabulous. And, and he's been doing a great job, Joe Biden. So, and we're most likely going to lose him and we're going to get Donald Trump. And, so, people are upset that, he lost his concentration while he was, 90 minutes of having to talk about everything. It's not easy. And so, anyway, I mean, of course, he's older and has problems, but I'm not saying he's definitely, since that debate, been doing a great job of talking about climate change. So, and that's all I care about. So there you go. So, but nobody's thinking about that, and that's what the world of hurt we're in, and right now we're dealing with every day there's a problem from climate change every day around the world. And so it was Beryl, the what is it called? The Beryl is hitting Jamaica now, and then hit the Geraldine. I always forget how to say it. The Geraldine or yeah, anyway, whatever those islands are in the Caribbean. Um, Carrasco or something that got hit really bad, and that was 10,000 people that were on that island. It's been destroyed. I mean, really destroyed. And so, and now Oroville is on fire, and that's 13,000 people evacuated And so where they couldn't right. I guess they couldn't even evacuate the Caribbean island. Um, I always forget how to pronounce it. Gerald, anyway, whatever it was. Um, the islands in the Windward Island that they call it, the Lesser Antilles, over there, south of Florida, north of South America, and it's the Caribbean islands, and they're getting hit very and with this Beryl hurricane, and now Oroville, 13,000 could be evacuated, but they couldn't evacuate the 10,000 from those Caribbean islands because where do they go? And on top of it, it happens so fast, and that's the climate, the global heating that's causing these hurricanes to spin up so fast. And even one of the sad things is that our coral reefs are going away, and they said, "Oh well, we need hurricanes because they actually cool the ocean. It does bring cool water up from the lower regions of the ocean, but so we can cool the ocean with the hurricane." Yeah, so that's the kind of what is it called? The problem, having a terrible problem that we're in. Now we need hurricanes to cool the oceans, and then it causes, of course, all the destruction on land. So it's a whatever my husband calls it. Anyway, it's a big bad problem. Anyway, so that's what we're dealing with every day. And so one thing was, what was it? All hands on deck is the way I, wanted to keep the name of the program. And because the only solution that my husband, the scientist, says is that we need to become a village and have all our needs met locally. So that's the way we have to go. We have to go that way because that's how it was before fossil fuels. All our needs were met locally. So, and the other area that we would reference is Cuba. And when Cuba lost fossil fuels, when Russia, I guess the end of the USSR, where they were no longer providing fossil fuels to Cuba, well, then everybody started growing food. That was how they survived. And so, look, I'm really happy. I have a lot of gray hair. I'm old. So anyway, good. So hopefully wiser from the elders. Anyway, and so basically, what is it? Oh, so Cuba just began. Everybody was growing food. That was how they survived, and they have a lot of growing food in their urban core. And what is the poster that my girlfriend Elizabeth got from an artist in Oakland? And it was all about growing urban farms. That we need urban farms. We need local food production, and the ideal food production is in our in our homes. In our homes, we could grow microgreens, sprouts, and we could also grow it in our yards. That our yards, all land needs to become productive, and that's what happened after World War II in the UK. Is that all land became productive. It was required that all land be productive after the bombings of the UK during World War II. So that we need that kind of law, to say all our lands need to be productive. So we grow food locally. And so that's where we're at, and it's like, okay, we're most probably not going to get political leadership, but it doesn't really matter because, well, it does matter, but it's more like it's just the way it is. And that's why we're in the world of hurt that we're in now. So we haven't had any political leadership. So I have to lift my foot up so I don't make that noise. So that's good that I'm reminded. Anyway, So it's building a village, and that's what I'm working on. Well, actually, what I'm working on is growing food. So, and it's a lot of work. And one thing our my scientist husband was saying is that you could donate money or send us coffee, um, so that we can keep building our village, and also helping others to build a village. That was the way it would be donated, and so it's like all the other YouTube channels. Um, what we need to be doing is living without fossil fuels, and we have to be an example of that. Something is going wrong with the camera. Let me see if I. It gets for some reason it's becoming um, blurry. Anyway, is there anything you can do to the camera where it's blurry? I'm not sure. Oh, Cat, I was wondering about the camera is blurry, Cat. Maybe he can't hear me. I know he's had trouble with that. Cat. Oh, okay, he's listening. Oh, there it is. It's better now. All right, good, sweetie. It's got sometimes some problems. Anyway, okay, good. Back on. All right, good. So we're live. Let's see if I have any. No chat. Okay, good. So anyway, if you want to send me a coffee, um, to support the work that we're doing to build a village and to live fossil fuel free, because we really are living fossil fuel free. Well, even though my husband says we're not really, because the water is coming, and we have PG&E as a backup for our solar. We don't travel. Okay, so that's the example that we're talking about. We're growing food, and we're growing housing too. So, that's what we all need to be doing. That's all that we need to be doing, is growing housing and growing food. And so we can provide housing for our families. That's how it, is in Israel, or like my girlfriend says, occupied Palestine, whatever. Israel um, is that maybe, I don't know, it's occupied. She would always call it occupied Palestine, but so I don't know if it's the Palestinians, but they would grow flat housing so they could put another story on for the future generations. And that's what we're doing now. We're growing, we're making more housing vertical and going down. And that's the things that we all need to be doing. We should be doing that. Making attachments, or we can also do ADUs. We should all be doing that, and living multi-generational. So that's the example that we need to be, and you could support us to being that, of how what we need to do and how we are living. So I guess you can't force your kids to live with you, but like my husband says, building capacity, because things are getting worse and worse right now. Our family is having trouble in Oroville, and there's a big fire in Oroville. So, all right, well, that's today's. Let's see, I don't know. Well, I've been walking 16 minutes, so that's good. Thank you for your company. So, anyway, talking about our climate crisis and how we're going to get out of it. I guess there's no solution, but it's more a matter of, okay, building our village. That's what we're doing. That's what we're working on. All hands on deck. All right. So that's what I say is, like, it's a back door to stop burning fossil fuels, is that you need to start growing food and building housing for your future generations and for yourself, so that you can have somebody take care of you when you get older, in your home. So it's really a benefit if you can create more housing. And then we need to have, like, separate housing. So in terms of COVID, like, have our little bubbles. Everybody's got their bubble. But it's living close, and being a village is nice when you have neighbors that are close, and they have their own space too. So it's sort of like co-housing. Co-housing is the concept. And then growing food. And we had a garden party last weekend with my son, his girlfriend, and my renter, Elizabeth, and her son. We all were working on getting our garden together. And so that's what we were doing. Anyway, so wanting to support us by, send me a coffee, or I guess we would have to have a PayPal, or what, I don't know what other ways that people do it. But what we said that all the money would be going towards is building our villages and helping our neighbors build the village too. That's what we're doing. So that is the nonprofit. I was thinking I am starting a nonprofit, I guess. It was like, I could start a nonprofit, which was growing food. And so most probably I should have it be a nonprofit. And it's called Urban Farmers Trading Posts. That's what I was calling it. And that's most likely it is a nonprofit. Could start a nonprofit, because I don't know how you fund a nonprofit though. Oh, here you are. You can help fund my nonprofit. All right, sweeties. So let's see, 18 minutes. I'll go for 20. Okay, that's my exercise. All right, good. So it's, I guess you guys could be funding my nonprofit, because how do nonprofits get funded? But what I've been doing is I've been growing seedlings for my neighbors, to give my neighbors seedlings. Okay, there it is. That's it. That's what you're funding. And so that they can grow food too. And so it's Urban Farmers Trading Post. And that's the future, is to no money is in the future. What does Catamount say? He says, Cougar, what does Cougar W say? He says, that what it will look like when we turn off the fossil fuels, or even 50%, which is what they said we're supposed to be at 2030. That's what the science has been saying. 2030, we need to be 50% reduction. And what Cougar W said, what 50% reduction looks like is no driving, no flying, no movement of goods, no money, and no jobs. So that's it. And it's coming to fruition, even with AI, as it's moving us towards that reality. But turning off the fossil fuels, or reducing it even 50%, would mean no driving, no flying, no movement of goods, no money, and no jobs. So when you're not, no money, it's trading and bartering. And we become producers, not consumers. So that's what we're working on. So all hands on decks. Okay, I got 50 more seconds to get to my 20 minutes. And thank you for being here with me. And so it's okay, so let's see what else. So that's what we're doing. Going to get some. Well, we're going to go get compost tomorrow from our local, and we take our bicycles, and that's what we do. All right, sweetheart. Love you all. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye. 20 minutes. Let's see. And then I go. Thank you. Thank you for having me.